to the sovereign Lord of the creation. We praise Him and only Him we do ask for help and guidance. Peace and blessing upon all His messengers and prophets, from the very first till the seal and the last one of them. Good evening, dear friends, and welcome back to another episode of this journey of demystifying the mystery of the night comer, the piercing star, or the dark star, Wormwood, red Kachina. Where should I start? Normally, the topic of the discussion tonight is Nibiru, Wormwood, future roadmap linking Earth changes to human behavior and the coming great events. Some of these events are unimaginable. Some of these events will be so shocking, devastating, and beyond imagination, as I said. And before getting to the main topic, I just I was wondering and really pondering over what is the most important thing to bring to the attention of people in general. I know many of the brothers and sisters, Muslim from around the world, are listening, and I salute them, but I also know that there are also non-Muslim who are listening, and they are very welcome, because this is a public video, to hope that people will learn something from the information that we are trying to share. At the same time, as I said, it is a bit hard for me because this topic of planet Nibiru, planet X, has got so many ramifications and other topics that are apparently, though they seem independent, but they are very closely related to the topic of planet Nibiru. And I hope that with the time, once you start connecting the dots, you'll understand exactly what I mean, So shall I start explaining the one day is 1 year, because this topic was brought by Sheikh Imran Hussein, may Allah be pleased with him, when he was describing or answering on the saying of our beloved Prophet, peace and blessing be upon him, when he was asked about the Dajjal, the deceiver, known to the Christian people as the Antichrist, where he was, and description. So he said he's in a place where one day is a year from what we count on the surface of this earth, and then one day as long as a week, and another day, first one day is like a month and one day like a week, or shall I bring the topic of the untold war of Antarctica, the Schwabenland base, the high jump operation from Admiral Beard, the way he went into the inner earth and met with the Antichrist himself. When he went back to the United States, they put him in quarantine in a mental institution and forbid him to have contact with the press and with the other people. Why is that? Or shall I go speak to you about his secret diary, which he left for his daughter, and his daughter gave it, she published a lot of those secrets of Admiral Beard. Or shall I speak with you about the Third Reich and the secrets of the Tura society who worked for the Nazi regime and for Hitler himself, and their voyage to the Tibet, and how they tried to enter the Hollow Earth to seek contact with the Aryan race? Or shall I speak to you about shall I speak exposing the lies of the flat earth theory, or to debunk the theory that the Anunnaki are our real creator, who created us? Well, this is an obvious lie, you know, meant to disinform the people and to misguide them. And the thing is, you know, each time that I go on the internet and I see that a lot of people are spreading this idea that the Anunnaki came, and I have explained previously from the catalog of creation, from the one who created this universe, who these Anunnaki are. Okay, we agree on the fact that they once in the time, in the history of Earth, they came to Earth. But to be honest with you, you know what they did? They mixed their DNA with that of the human beings. That's all what they did. They messed and they poisoned and dirtied the human DNA through the interbreeding with the human females. And today, if we are suffering, you know, humanity, great majority of the suffering of human beings is due to that bloodline of these those who from heaven came to earth. Okay, and this is also mentioned in the catalog of the creation. And I gave you the real names of Enki and Enlil and Enki. You know, so there is so much to talk about in order for people to understand the coming dangers with the incoming planet Nibiru. And you know, it's not only the survival, the physical survival, but there is another level, there is another dimension, which is metaphysical, spiritual dimension, that ought to be debated and discussed in order for the people to understand the risks that they're going to take in the coming future, because I'm not joking here. And you know, as some of the truthers said, there is no reason for me to be here to lie to you, you know. And so please allow me, before anything else, to put a word of thanks and appreciation to all the truthers who are doing their best in order to bring valuable information. They're spending their time in order to wake up other fellow human beings. You know, and so my thanks go to those sincere truthers and not to the fake truthers, because there are many of them who are trying, you know, to spread a certain agenda for certain personal needs, and you know, they know who they are. They know who they are, and they are propagating a false information to the people. To those I say, be careful and watch what you are doing, because you will be held responsible in front of the creator of this universe. You may enjoy for a while, you know, some wealth and some financial prosperity, but you'll have to pay. It is going to be a very big price. And these are the people whom we say, you know, they use the truth, or they hide under the umbrella of the truth, but their real intention is evil. Okay? كلمة حق يراد بها باطل. A word of truth, but the real intention behind it is evil. is to work for the clan of the enemy, for the others. Okay, enough of that. So tonight I would like to give you a personal opinion. Okay, this is my personal opinion about the orbit of planet Nibiru, planet X. You know, because many people are trying to predict the coming of this planet, relying, of course, on the instrumentation, telescopes, and mathematical calculation, all that stuff. I was thinking about that and pondering about that to the point that, you know, it struck me the fact that they call it wormwood. When we speak about wormwood, a worm, how would a worm move? You know, spirochete, for instance, or the what they call it, the corkscrew, where they use it to open a bottle. You see, it's a screw. So I personally believe that this dark star, beside the elliptic orbit, that means within the elliptic orbit that it does have, it's drilling its way into space, because it's in a lower plane to the ecliptic plane, so it's drilling its way, and that's why this orbit of this star is hard to predict or to calculate. So that's just a personal thought, you know, and for you to ponder about it and to think about it. Now, in addition to the dangers and the destruction, the cataclysm which man will experience, the meteorite and asteroid showers, mega tsunamis, the crazy hurricanes, the winds from hell, and we are speaking here about wind speeds of 450 kilometers or even more, because there is a whole chapter in the catalog of creation describing the weird natural events that happen with the coming of this dwarf star. Because, as I said previously, it's not the first time that it passes close to Earth, and it seems that each time it depends on the distance between us, like many other people are explaining on YouTube, you know. So I leave that part to them to speak about the natural destruction and the cataclysm and all that. I'm trying, you know, to focus on another level of information related to this planet Nibiru, in order for the people to understand, so that they may avoid a lot of danger that's coming. Because, as I said, many people are only focusing on the physical aspect, on the survival. They are focusing on stocking on food, but that's not all. That's not all, because there's a lot more to planet Nibiru and to its coming. And without getting the minimum information about certain ramification, that means other topic, people are going to be an easy proy to what's coming ahead. And I mean, you can see it already today, because all those strange lights in the heaven, and this game of cat and mouse, you know, from other beings. Who are they? What is their agenda, you know? And to be honest with you, I heard many speakers in the field of alien ufology, and I am not convinced to the arguments that they are saying, you know, those alien, if they had the intention to invade us, and they have got the technology, they would... No, that's not what it is about. It is about the big harvest, okay? So They are waiting for the moment and they are following the orders of the chief, because they do have a chief. And I said the chief is Enki. He's a reptilian. He's the eternal enemy of humankind. Okay? But this is all getting me off topic, you know, when I'm sorry for that. I'm sorry because there are so many aspects that have to be clarified and explained so that the people could understand. So let's go back. With the crossover we are about to witness and experience, there will be an explosion of a far distant past of humanities. Our grandfathers and mothers. They did things. Okay, our relatives from distant past. So all of that, this distant past history of humanity, it will collide with the present on the moment of the collision of the electromagnetic field of planet Nibiru with that of Earth. It will all explode in our faces. The result will be a future full of strange, weird reality. The paranormal will be mixed with, you know, because people are gonna witness and see and experience things that they have never imagined, okay, beyond belief. The unthinkable will manifest with an apocalyptic earth destruction all over the place, because I mean, as many truthers have tried to explain and they've done their best, you know, some of them are focusing on the chemtrails. That's all good, you know, it's all for educating people, to give them, you know, to open their eyes that the ones whom we trust, the true rulers who are ruling this world, are covering up the truth and trying to do all what they can in order to, you know, in order for us not to know what's going on. And with that, they are trying to hide their true agenda, because they want to take people by surprise on the moment when the execution of their final goal of this agenda. So I hope that it is clear that people start understand where I'm going. So okay, with an apocalyptic earth destruction all over the place, except few remaining oases where life will continue as normal. You know, because it is pre-told that despite the fact that parts of the continent will go underwater, they'll be invaded by the ocean, there'll be rise of new continents, you know, in the Pacific, for instance, also in the Atlantic Sea. But if you look at what we call today the Americas and the continents of today, after the destruction and the asteroids hitting the surface of the earth, still in the prophecies there have been witnessed and seen places who will remain intact. They will form like oases in the middle of the desert, where all the life around is completely dead except in those oases. Now, if you ask me my personal opinion, my personal view about that, this is all depending on the preparation, how we prepare. Because there is also a level of spiritual preparation, like a kind of meditation that people will try to form a light ball around the whole of the city in order to protect the city from all what's coming down. And that have, of course, to do with your connection with the creator of this universe. You know, how you are connected with him. And whether you mean all what you do from your heart or, you know, anyway, this is another discussion in itself. So let us get back to what we were talking about. So rise of, you know, from this, during all this crossing over, there are weird events that are going to take place, like the rise of the dead as a result of a natural phenomena of the strong electromagnetic, of electrostatic energy generated by the friction of the electromagnetic strong field of the dark star with that of Earth. And as explained before, there will be the release of Gog of Magog. These are hybrids from interbreeding among humans and the Djins. The fallen angel, when they came, they bred with the human females, and they have part of their progeniture on the surface of the earth, but what is hidden in the hollow earth, in the inner earth, is even worse. It is teeming with life. And I'm going to come back to this point later on to explain to you. So, you know, many people will say to me, prove it to me. Shall I take you from your hand and take you to the inner earth? Do your own research. And you see that what I'm trying to share with you is the divine truth. And they are hiding it from the people, okay? The only country in this world who have got polar satellite is the United States of America. Polar satellite means these satellites, they go from North Pole to South Pole. When they put them in service, the first data that came in, some pictures and some images, they were leaked, but immediately after they made access to this data forbidden to the public. So in those images that they were leaked, you can see from a satellite image from above the entrance to the hollow earth, that our earth is not the way that we are taught it is to be. So many people now would ask, what about the magma and there is a crust. It's just, you know, imagine or picture a pumpkin. It has got a very thick crust, and the magnetic pull, the gravity of the earth that's keeping us on the surface is in the middle of that crust. So those who are living in the bottomless pit in the hollow earth are also kept to the surface of the inner earth, but that by the same magnetic attraction or gravity attraction that's keeping us on the surface, you know. So do your own research. There is enough evidence and proof to justify to you what I'm trying to share to you. And as I said, my information does not come from the internet or from the human books. It is coming from the catalog of the creation, who revealed his last revelation. But you people in the West, for instance in Canada, United States, or even in South America, you have to understand that there is a wall built. You are quarantined from knowing this truth. And you have groups there of the children of the devil who are working on your minds in order to brush with a black brush all what has got to do with the truth. They are misleading the people with the information that they are giving to them, okay? And I'm going to come to this point later on. So please bear with me. Let's go further on. So people are going to witness the rise of the dead as a result of a natural phenomena of the dark star. So there will be this collision between the electromagnetic field, generating a high level of electrostatic energy. There will be the release of Gog and Magog, who are a hybrid from interbreeding among humans and Djins. They'll be released from the hollow earth. They swiftly swarm from every mound. They'll be coming from all the directions, okay? This is gonna happen immediately after the crossing. They'll be coming with their flying objects. Those lights that you are seeing, they'll be coming in a mass landing across all the globe, okay? Go back to my previous video, I gave you more detail about that. So that's one the bigger challenge, and the real fight will begin between the forces of good and the forces of evil. You know, because today, even though this coming war, they will give birth to Armageddon, you know, this war that they are trying to fake. They are trying to start it between the Muslim people in the Middle East, between the Saudi and the Iranian, based on the fact that a certain group of them, they call themselves the Sunni, the other they call themselves the Shia. So even though I lost my train of thought, sorry. Yeah, sorry for that. Anyway, as I said to you, today these wars that we are witnessing are not really about truth and falsehood. They are not between the forces of good and evil, okay? As much as it's going to be beyond the crossover. That's the real fight when it's going to begin, okay? Between the forces of good and the forces of evil. I will further elaborate on this when I reach the phase of beyond the great event of the crossing. Now, back, the catalogue of the creation contains many stories of ancient different civilizations, and you'll be amazed. You'll be amazed when you start learning about this ancient civilization that stretch back thousands of years, you know, before what is so-called the Sumerians. Even more ancient to that. Now, did you know, for instance, that Prophet Noah, when he came, we call him Noah, alayhi salam, peace and blessing be upon him. He was previous to 4,500 years ago, okay? And we do have in the Bible, even in the Bible itself, or in the Torah of the Jewish people, there are accounts, narrations, and the whole history. So, do you think that Noah was not a modern human being? Do you think that he was an ape? Well, according to Zacharias' teaching, human being, before the Anunnaki came and mixed their DNA to create the modern human being, the previous human being, according to him, they were all apes, you know. What a joke. What a joke. Anyway, so we do have many stories about ancient different civilizations. Some of these civilizations, they were even more advanced in knowledge, in technology, and people, they had a longer lifespan. They lived a longer time, you know. You're gonna get my point across later on. This is all, it has to do with Planet X and with the crossing. Please bear with me. Be patient for a while. Okay, I'm gonna try to move quicker ahead so that I won't bore you with my struggling with the English words because it's not my native language. Among those nations, the Creator sent His messenger forth with the word of truth. But you see, in the stories that are mentioned in the catalog of creation, the deniers, they mocked the messenger, they mocked the truthers, they ridiculed them. But at the end of the day, we know that they were destroyed by different kind of natural disaster, cataclysm, and even with the crossing of this planet. Okay? So, except the messengers and those who believed in their message, they were saved. So I am not claiming that I am a messenger or a prophet. You know, I'm just a normal, average guy like the rest of you, or even, you know. But I'm telling you, you know, when I hear somebody warning and saying that there is a danger coming, what's the use in telling him, no, you are lying and this and this? Why? I listen to him. If you don't agree with him, just please give me time. I've got to investigate this and think about it, and I'll get back to you, you know. This is the least way of being civilized in discussion and dealing with the people. But nowadays, people, they have no patience anymore, and they'd rather spend their time doing other things. It's up to you. Anyway, let me add a quick remark before starting the main topic. If we, the Muslim people, were hostile towards non-Muslim people, personally, I wouldn't be here talking to you, knowing that other than Muslim will listen and may learn something. So many lies and fabrication against Muslim in order to create division. Muslims are also human beings who are suffering and trying with their loved ones and family to survive the hardship inflicted on them by the New World Order. You know, because previously I was listening to a certain guy in the beginning, he spoke about planet Nibiru, he gave valuable information, but at the end of the show, he started bashing the Muslims, saying they have an agenda to invade us, and what are you talking about? And he brought names that I don't know, Esau, and who is Esau? Explain to me who is Esau. These people, they do not present a proof, you know. They're just following lies and fabrications. As I told you, you have a certain group of people who these are evil people there. They don't want you to know the truth. Okay? They want to keep the lid on you so that you will be blinded and taken by surprise. So Muslim people are also human beings suffering from. So what's going today in Syria, for instance? Do you think these people there, this family of the Syrian, millions of people, do you think they like to leave their countries, to leave their fatherland and their homes and everything? It's been inflicted on them. They've been chased from there. Now, who is doing this? Well, you may guess twice. It is always the same people who are behind the misery of humanity. The ones who are fabricating lies and starting wars between nations, you know, the invasion of Iraq, the invasion of Afghanistan, long before that it was Vietnam, and they are using, you know, the naive people, or people who get no other way but to go to join the military and the army. You know, other ways they cannot eat. So the kind of mercenary, they take them there, and later on we hear that they are using the bodies and the cadaver of dead soldier to re-export heroin back to the Western world, you know. Anyway, I am sorry. I am sorry. It's disgusting. It's disgusting. And people, it's time for people to wake up and to know that we do have a common enemy. This enemy has got no compassion, no love whatsoever to mankind or to the human race. And this mission of this enemy is to cause wars and to execute an agenda, the agenda of their forefathers, Enki and Enlil. Okay? And these people are among us. Maybe you walk across them on the street, but you won't recognize them because in appearance they look like the rest of us. But these are the true rulers of our society. And actually it is not those politicians, because those politicians, they get the orders from these true rulers who are sitting behind. We call them shadow governments. And they do exist all over the place. They do exist in Saudi Arabia. They do exist in Syria. They do exist in Lebanon. They are all in China, in Japan, in Australia. So you thought you only have them in the United States of America or in Canada? No, no, no. They are all over the world. In each government, they control the government from behind. That's why they are called the shadow government. Okay. So, if you think that these people who are trying to survive are coming there because they want to come to leave their countries and all that stuff, and I mean, I'm not only defending the Muslim people, because there are other people who are also non-Muslim at all. They've been chased from their homes by this same group of people because of the agenda that they have. And they will do anything into their power in order to execute the agenda to the word of what's given to them by their master, whom they call master, or some of them they call him later on father. Who are closer, they call him father. Now to our topic of the night. Time is very precious, only if we knew. We don't have much time left. Time is running out. The crossover will happen within the coming couple of years. The actual Islamic year we are in today is 1439. So the lunar calendar is, we are 1439. It officially started back in September 21st, 2017 of this year. It's about 3 months ago. So after sightseeing the new moon of the first lunar month, Muharram, according to the lunar ephemerid guesstimations, the first day of the holy month of Ramadan for this year, 1439, will be on a Saturday, May 12th, 2018. Okay, it's going to be May 12th. But again, this is a guesstimation. As I told you, nobody can confirm the real beginning of the month. Before that, the young moon of the crescent moon, the new moon, has been sighted with the naked eye or with a telescope. But we'll have to wait till few days before that date, then begin monitoring the moon, okay? And why I'm saying this, because previously I told you that in the prophecies, and I'm going to come back to the point of the prophecies, because today I heard someone saying, you know, the prophecies, you can not rely on them because they can change. Well, let me tell you something. This depends of the source of the prophecies. If it is a messenger and a prophet of the divine creator, well, till now, all the prophecies, because these are not the first prophecies, we had other prophecies, they came 100% exactly the way that they were pre-told, okay? But if you are talking about a channeler or a shaman, these people spiritually, they are not equal to messenger or to prophet. And above all this, the prophecies, you can divide them in two. You have one group of prophecies, they are talking about earth events, natural disasters, okay? These seems to be unchangeable. They will come exactly, or celestial bodies, phenomena that are taking place in heaven, that we can see them from but you have another level, another group of prophecies that are talking about human activity. These are subject to changes according to the human behavior due to our free will, because the human being is unpredictable. Mankind can change their behavior, and that way all what's been said, the prophecy is subject also to change. So I agree. But when it comes to seismic activity, to volcanic eruptions, earth changes. Now, I'll give you an example, for instance. I'll give you an example about the sinkholes. We do have a prophecies that among the signs of the judgment day, there will be sinkholes in the west of the globe and sinkholes in the east of the globe Earth. So all those sinkholes that started back few years ago, because we can see the reports that are coming in, they started a few years ago, they were predicted in a prophecy, okay? Because these are from the major signs, we call them. But there are also minor signs. It seems that they all took place the way that they were predicted. So the sinkholes in the west of the globe and in the east, look up sinkholes in China. Okay, you're gonna see, you'll be amazed at what you're gonna see. And then afterward, after these two big events of the sinkholes in the west of the globe and in the east of the globe, well, there comes here the part now of earthquakes and volcanic eruption, because I was going to talk about this, on the timeline, to predict the year. And so you have certain volcanic eruptions that are going to take place, for instance, in Italy, in Europe, the Mount Etna, and in the Martinique Islands, in that part of the world. These did not start yet, but they precede the event of the coming of this dwarf star. So in recent years, and to be precise, since 2005, there has been a lot of controversy and disagreement in the Islamic world between astronomers. Astronomers, these are the scientists who rely on mathematical calculation and telescopes, devices. So there has been disagreement between them and between what we call the witness group responsible of sightseeing the new moon or the crescent moon, indicating the begin of the lunar holy month of Ramadan, the fasting month for the Muslim people. And this is due to a disruption in the lunar orbit, and this phenomena started in 2005. That's when the moon became under the impact of the strong magnetic attraction of planet Nibiru, or the dwarf star, the black star. What happens? What happened is, astronomers, according to their calculation, they predict the new moon at sunset of a certain day. In a certain day, they say, it's like what I announced to you previously, the calculation, they predict that next Ramadan will start on a Saturday, not on a Friday, on May the 12th, 2018. But what happened, and is happening since 2005, so these groups of witness group, using binoculars and naked eye, are posted on high buildings or on the outskirts of the city, but that day they don't sightsee the new moon. So the begin of the holy month will be automatically delayed and announced for the day after. Okay, it will be predicted and announced for the day after the day that was predicted by the astronomer. So the begin will be one day later. But to make sure of the sightseeing, witness group will go the next day, and they will once again try to sightsee the young moon, the crescent moon. To their amazement, the new moon in sight is thicker. Normally they expect to see a one-day young crescent moon, but what they witness is they see that it is a bigger of 2 days. So really they say, oh, well, how come that this is not 1 day old young moon? Okay. In another word, they expect to sightsee a one thin line crescent new moon, but to their astonishment it is a bolder crescent moon. So what's going on here? The previous evening, no young moon at all, and the next day a 2 days old new moon. This phenomena is called enlargement of the new moon. Okay? In the Islamic prophecies 1400 years ago, it was mentioned among the major signs of end times and judgment day, there will be enlargement of the new moon. Okay? I'm not making this up. And so we are witnessing this since 2005. When introducing the dark star Nibiru to the scene, we get what's called sun-moon precession. Okay? Normally the word precession is used for the equinox. And I'm going to explain to you. You're going to understand in a while. So in normal circumstances, the sun sets down, followed by the moon. The sun sets down, going to the west, followed in eastwards by the moon. And so after sunset, we are able to see the young moon, the new moon. Now, starting April 2005, this phenomena of sun-moon precession switched the position of moon so that it became westwards to the sun. Okay? Westward to the sun, that means causing the young new moon to set prior to the sun. This implies that there is a disruption in the moon's orbit, as though as a strong magnetic force pulling it sometimes backwards and sometimes pulling it forwards. causing to speed it up, the motion of the moon in its orbit, or to slow it down, depending whether this force is from behind, whether this force is opposite to the orbit of the moon, or whether it is in the same direction in front, like it is even speeding it up forward. So, at the exception of the awaited Imam Mahdi, who issued various detailed statements explaining this phenomena, and I said the awaited Imam Mahdi, who issued various detailed statements. Today he's still doing that, warning mankind to get prepared, because these phenomena started already in 2005. So the only occurrence on the internet I came across a few years ago on the web was on the website Educate Yourself, Planet X sequel. Okay, if you look it up on the internet, you'll see what I'm talking about, Educate Yourself, where a native elder Cherokee descent, okay, he was mentioning the following. This Daryl Whitewolf said, the moon has changed its orbit and appears in the west sky now when it rises, okay, in the west sky, because as I said, in normal circumstances the moon is always eastward from the sun. So how can you explain this phenomena to me? So continuing what Daryl Whitewolf was saying, he said the moon has changed its orbit and appears in the west sky now when it rises. The stars are turning around in the sky at night and moving slower. The Earth Mother staggers like a drunk. Some people claim that prophecies are subject to change. In my opinion, this depends, as I said, of the source of the prophecy and the prophets who are making those prophecies. Anyway, we got this point previous to the discussion. I was too quick in bringing it up. Prophecy could be divided in two major groups: those who are related to natural events and earth changes, and those related to human behavior, like wars. Up to date, all prophecies foretold by our beloved prophet, peace and blessing be upon him, called minor signs prior to major signs, all occurred exactly the way he foretold. You know, I mean, you cannot deny this fact if you are not, because this person who was speaking today is not a Muslim. If you ask her, you know, any chapter of the catalog of the creation, she does not know what you are talking about. But still they dare, you know, claim that they know all the truth and that these things are false. You know, they have no evidence because they have no idea of what they are talking about. Anyway, I think we are wasting our time, you know, by going over the deniers. So let's continue, because there are a lot of important and crucial matters that we have to bring to the table. At the same time, I would like to point out the fact channelers who channel spirits and channel aliens, sometimes they reveal to them events to predict. Then sometimes those predictions end up true, but most of the time end up to be a lie, simply because those aliens, be it from Alpha Centaurium or from Andromeda or from the Pleiades or from the Zetas, you know, we know that there are over 200 alien species hiding in the inner Earth, in the hollow Earth. Oops, did I say hollow Earth? Am I exposing the well-kept secret of the Illuminati? They don't want the people to know that all those aliens, those lights, they are hiding in the whole earth. And they are lying to the abductees and to the contactees. They're telling them, we are coming from Alpha Centaurium, we're coming from the Zetas, we are coming. But in truth, they are coming from the whole earth, because that's the headquarter of Enki and Enlil. Enki is the master, is the head master, because he subdued Enlil. Enlil works for him. They work in cohorts. The Nordics, they work under the reptilian race, led by Enki. That's why in the time of the Sumerian, you know, the reptilian race, the Enkis, they forbid to the native Sumerian people to depict the faces of certain of those who came. So when they depicted the face of the Nordics, you see clearly a man with a beard. But when it comes to the reptilians, to Enki, he is wearing a mask of an eagle, because they do have ugly faces. Okay, and so they forbid, but the people still, they depicted them, and you do have some statues from that time, back in the time of the Sumerian, where you clearly see a body is like a human female body with breastfeeding a baby, but her face is a reptilian face. Okay, so go check that on the internet to be convinced of what I'm trying to tell you. So we know that there are 200 alien species, and many of them are part of the Great Deception, even though they claim to be friendly, trustworthy, but in truth are not. This is another trick of the evil agenda, to play two separate clans of alien, so that one is friendly, having human welfare at heart, and the other playing aggressive and unfriendly, hostile. Okay, so what happens is, what people will run from the hostile to seek support and comfort by the friendly aliens. These greys are our friends, and they are giving us information and this and all that. But at the end of the road, both the hostile and the so-called friendly alien, they are working on the same agenda. Wake up, people. Wake up to this fact. So, by now I can hear someone say, oh well, oh, he's claiming that all the aliens are bad. My answer, I never said that all aliens are bad. I agree, not aliens are bad. But I am sure, and I know this for a fact, that the good aliens will never interfere with the human affairs. Okay? They have better things to do. It's not like those who are, sticking to the human beings and trying to control their minds and bring information, I don't know what, and then they do have the agenda. They are part of this global agenda, because the New World Order agenda is the same, because it is dictated by the alien, by the fallen angel themselves. Please understand that. Okay? So, not all aliens are bad, I agree that, but as I said, the good ones, they prefer to keep away from this mess created on earth. They will never interfere with the human beings. Okay? So please understand, I have no other motivation but share the divine truth from my perspective, which is a Muslim perspective. I am not selling a book. I have no book to sell for sale. I have no video material for sale. I am not looking for donations. Nothing, and also I have nothing against those who are writing books, you know, or have asked for donation or whatever they are doing. I'm not competing with them. What I mean with this, I am not competing, and I'm not consider them to be a competition to me, because what I am doing, my only drive is to please my Creator and to share the truth that He revealed. Maybe some people can learn of this information, okay? So I am seeking to please my Creator and my love for the truth. So please let us not make this personal. You do your thing, I do the mine. This is about truth and knowledge. It's not about you and me. And we let people decide. You know, everyone is responsible of his or her own life. So where do this leave us with the future roadmap from point A, where from where we are today, okay, and the event of the crossing, and then beyond that point, where does all this leave us? As I said to you, the crossing is prophesied to happen on a Friday, which will coincide with the 15th of the holy month of Ramadan. Now, about the year, if we look in the year that we are in, 1439, we see that many events are taking place, many natural disasters, floodings, still that the precursors for the event of the crossing, personally, I don't see them happening. Okay? So my personal view, I think there is a lot more of events, earthquakes, floodings, volcanic eruption that are going to take place, you know. And we gave the suggestion where we said the big earthquake in the Middle East, it will come many months before, in the same year, but many months before. So if you're going to see that this earthquake is happening in the beginning of 2018, till the date of May the 12th, it could be that it's going to be that year, and it could be also, there is a possibility that instead of holy month of Ramadan starting on Saturday, it is possible that it could start on a Friday, as it can also, it is possible that it will start on a Sunday. So we have to take these points into consideration. So the bottom line, what I'm trying to say, till now we did not see some of the big events that are precursors. So I am not affirming that this is not the year, and I'm not saying it could not be the year. I think it is a bit too early. We have to wait till the beginning of 2018, so that we are maybe 4 months in the lunar calendar, 4th month. Things will become more clear and obvious. Now at the end, you know, of this video, even though I don't want to sound like a broken record, but the following two issues are crucial, so please pay close attention. One big issue which will add to human misery, and you know, people still, they don't realize how bad it's going to be. This issue will cause social unrests, which will generate the martial law that's going to be imposed in different parts of the world. I'm talking about the coming war. The people, the human, they've done many faults, they've done many wrong things in the past. But this time, with this coming war, they are going to really regret it. Men and women. Because this is going to affect even little children. It's going to affect the elderly. Why I'm saying this? Because this war, once it starts in the Middle East, is going to grow bigger and bigger till it'll become a world war, between all the nations of the world. And people around the world, in China, in America, in Canada, everywhere, because we'll see that the prices are rising, skyrocketing. The food, in addition today that we are losing fish, we are losing animals on land, we are losing crop failure. In addition to that, as I said, if this war will start, it will cause a lot of hunger, and prices of food will rise. People will start rioting because they cannot provide bread on the table. All the bills will become expensive. The price of the oil is going to be double or triple. Okay? And still people are not paying attention to this. So this is another part of the roadmap. Normally, the crossing will happen when there is a war going on, where all the nations are confronting each other. Why? Because they have to synchronize this war, okay? And when I say they have, who? The children of the devil, the global elites who are working for the master. They have to synchronize this war where all the nations are fighting each other, so that the Father can come, their Father will come with the solution. He will come in the name of peace. But if there is no war going on, he won't be able to come in the name of peace. Okay? So watch this issue about this World War III. And even though that the situation is relatively quiet and calm, but keep your eyes there on the Middle East. And I hope that humanity will do all what they can in order to avoid the beginning of this war or taking part on it, because it's in our demise, even though it's going to be started in the Middle East between the Saudis and the Iranian. But believe me, when I'm telling you that this will have the Lavina effect, it's like the ice ball, and this will bring Russia, China, who are pro-Iranian, and it will bring Israel with Saudi, the Egyptian with the Saudi, the American with the Saudi, Australia will join this, Canada will join, all the nations they will join. And the average people like you and me are going to beg for peace. We're going to, sit on our knees. And the truth is, do you know who's starting this? Who is advocating this war? Well, this is the same group of people, who advocate wars between, as I said, previous wars. And you do your own investigation, please. Now, the second and last issue, where I see majority of people are confused about Judgment Day and Reckoning Day. Okay? This is very important for the salvation of the souls. And even for the brother and sister who are Muslim, what's coming is going to look like it is Judgment Day, but it is not the Reckoning Day, because the final Reckoning Day will come after this life on earth will end completely. Okay, that's the final. And there'll be resurrection of all human beings that ever roamed this earth, from the first one, Adam, till the last one. But what's coming in this crossing over of the dwarf planet Nibiru is called the first resurrection or judgment day, because one day by the Lord is 1,000 years of what we count. So this is going to be the final phase, the new era, but the final phase in the life of earth, of mankind on earth. Okay, but the Antichrist, the devil, the Satan, Iblis alayhi al-la'na, he worked for many generations, for many centuries, with his minions, his helpers, in order to fake the scriptures, so that to prepare the people for what's coming, because he was present previous times with the crossing, and he knows the things that are going to happen, and he have got knowledge from God, because he was very arrogant, you know. Don't forget when the divine creator decided to create a human being as vicegerent and to give him control over the planet Earth. The first one who protested this decision was the serpent, the Enki, the devil. And do you know who is Enlil? Enlil is the other angel who was present, who spoke first. He said, "How dare you create in earth a being that will spill blood and commit mischief on earth?" And do you know why did he said this, Enlil? Because previously he had a discussion with Enki, and Enki told him, "You see, we have been working for centuries in this and serving this creator, and at the end he's going to give the vicegerency to another new creature who is less than us." And that's why Enlil, you know, he protested this, because he was instigated by Satan, by Enki, you know, to say this in the presence of the divine creator. So Lucifer, Enki, the Dajjal, he want to profit from this opportunity that's coming, and would like to make people believe that he is the one who caused this dwarf planet, which is in itself in description in the catalog of creation, hell, which is also mentioned in the Bible, in other sacred scripture. He will claim that he caused it to pass close to earth, that he is the one who caused the rise of the dead from the graves, that this is judgment day, that he is the Messiah, the Son of God, and anyone, you know, who believes in him may go to heaven, which is the Garden of Eden in the inner earth. But he is a liar. That garden is not his. He did not create this planet. He never created anything. Okay, that's why we call him the false Messiah. But at the same time, he worked, as I said, in many centuries before. And they infiltrated, first of all, they infiltrated the Jewish faith to misguide the Jewish people and to alter the scripture by them. And they used the Jewish people to infiltrate the Christian faith through the lodges of Freemasonries, you know. So this is the agenda, so that they could edit and put fakeries in the sacred scripture of the Christian people, faith believer. A good example of this is the rapture. Rapture was never mentioned by Isa, Yeshua, peace and blessing be upon him. It is a fakery to prepare the people for this event of the crossing, so that when he will appear from the whole earth with his army, Gog and Magog, and they will make mass landing all over the planet, they would tell them today is the day of the rapture, the promised rapture, and we're going to rapture you, take you to heaven. And so these creatures who are going to land, the occupant of those flying saucers, they will come out. They will even bring with them objects and fruits from the hollow earth, from the Garden of Eden, and say, here is from the garden of our Father. If you're willing to accept our Father, you know, we'll take you with us. And so imagine people are already suffering from the destruction and the cataclysm that earth went through, and shortage of water, of food, life is completely destroyed, no infrastructure. So are the people going to really say these are, if they don't know this information, they say take us, of course, take us, because you have food, and they see these flying objects and all that, and so let's leave all this behind and go to the Garden of Eden. But you know, if they do that, they can ask their priester and other people who know about this, what is the price of accepting the mark of the beast, worshipping the Antichrist. There is no return. That is going to be eternal perdition for those who will accept the offer of those false angelic beings who are going to claim that they are the children of their Father. So the peak of deception, it's what's known to the Christian as the rapture event, okay? And my intention is not to bash the Christian people. I am urging you, please do your research and look into what I have mentioned to you from the whole earth and the history of who is Enki, who is Enlil, and you know, and be sure that those lights, strange lights, all the stories about the alien agenda and all that, go through it and keep in mind what I told you, and you will realize that what I'm sharing with you is the truth which will save many souls. Okay, so thank you very much for tonight, for listening. Take care of yourself, and I see you next time. Goodbye. Assalamu alaikum, brothers and sisters. See you next time, inshallah. Salam.
Jesus Christ did not say, I am God, worship me. Now, if there's a Christian in this room that can tell me that Jesus said in his own words, not Matthew, not Mark, not Luke, not John, not Paul, but Jesus said, I am God, worship me, then we will raise $5,000 for you tonight before you leave. Break your Bibles out. Call somebody up. Go make a phone call. Get the verse. You'll never find it. You'll find somebody else's word alluding to that. You'll find somebody else's reference appearing that. But Jesus never said to anybody, I am God, worship me. He said, my Father. He didn't say, my Father who art in heaven, because he was not exclusively the servant of God. He said, when he taught them how to pray, I used to be a Christian. I still love Jesus Christ. I'm still connected to his message. I know it very well. He said, and you know that he said, our Father. Didn't he say that? He didn't mean our Father in the sense that he gave birth to us, but he said, our Lord, who art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Not my name, not our name. Thy kingdom come, not my kingdom come, not our kingdom come. If he's part of the Trinity, if he's divine, if he's part of God, or he's next to God, he will say, our kingdom come. He said, thy kingdom come. Thy will be done on earth as it is in heaven. Give us this day our daily bread. Did he say that? Did he say that? So now, if he said, give us this day our daily bread, that means Jesus and his mother could not have been divine. Because if he said, give us this day our daily bread, you and I, we eat and we drink. Jesus and his mother, they ate and they drank. And you know and I know that when you eat and drink, the body only uses some of it. The rest of it, the body evacuates. Now, can you imagine God defecating and urinating? Let's move on with the Lord's Prayer. Give us this day our daily bread, and forgive us our trespasses as we forgive those who do what? Trespass against us. Lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from evil. For thine is the kingdom, the power, and the glory forever and ever. Now, does this sound like God praying to you? Did you ever think about that? Now, that's the Lord's Prayer. That's the evidence of that. Now, we know Jesus said that. That wasn't Matthew, Mark, Luke, and John, and Paul. Jesus said that. Dear brothers and sisters and guests, go home tonight and palm through all the pages of your Bible, and I guarantee you will never find it once anywhere. So where did this come from? In 3 or 4 different occasions, it is mentioned in your scripture that I have read throughout my life before I became a Muslim that Jesus walked off and he fell down on his face and he worshiped God. Did it say that? Now, is that God bowing down to himself? Is that God calling on himself? No, Jesus said, I am Jesus who is sent, and the one who is sent is not like the one who sent me. Jesus said, I can of my own self do nothing, but whatsoever the one orders me, the one who sent me tells me to do, that is what I do. We cannot take Jesus out of the context of what Jesus said himself and make Jesus what we want him to be. We can't make Jesus a man God because the Romans and the Greeks had men gods. Because Jesus said, take not my message unto the Greeks, the Romans, the Samaritans. For my message, and I was sent to whom? The lost sheep of the tribe of Israel. Isn't that what Jesus said? So Paul was mistaken when he said, I became apostle to the Gentiles. Jesus said, don't take my message to them. Brothers and sisters, we can immediately see by such an example and definition that Jesus Christ himself submitted himself to God, that Moses and Abraham submitted themselves to God, that Isaac and Ishmael submitted themselves to God, that John the Baptist submitted himself to God, and submission means surrender, and surrender means salama. Salama, the one who does that is called Muslim. So what was Jesus? What was Abraham? What was Moses? What was David?